Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Resident Evil Retribution, which is the fifth film in the Resident Evil film series, and yeah, let's talk about it. I've reviewed every other Resident Evil movie besides this one and the final chapter, which is in theaters now. I'm going to try and catch that while it's still in theaters within the next couple of weeks now. And, my overall feelings on the series thus far have been kind of mixed. I still, even at its best, I still think it's nothing compared to the video games. It still hasn't lived up to it, at all. But, I have garnered a good amount of enjoyment and entertainment from them. I'm going to be honest about it. I don't think they're trash movies. I think they're, enjoyable to a certain extent. And I like the first three quite a bit. The fourth, Afterlife, it kind of fell flat for me for multiple reasons. You can go back and watch my review of all of them. This one, the fourth movie, Retribution, might be my least favorite so far, honestly. I didn't want to have to say that, but it just... one of my biggest issues with Resident Evil Afterlife was just seeing their version of Chris Redfield and that just not clicking at all for me, because I like the character so much in the games. So now in this one they have two really big characters from the games, Leon and Ada, and so that kind of doubles the risk for me, because if they have it be something else like that, it's just going to make it all the more or all the less enjoyable for me if they don't do it well, or if I don't like what they did with them. And it wasn't... I felt like there's a little bit more life to Leon and Ada in this one than there was to Chris in Afterlife. I'll say that, maybe by a hair. But the rest of the movie sort of bogged down it. A lot of the enjoyment I did kind of get from that. A little bit of it anyway. It definitely has its entertaining bits. I'm still not going to really, completely trash this movie. I still think it was definitely had entertaining moments throughout. I'll briefly explain the story. Of course, this one takes place, pretty quickly after, Resident Evil Afterlife. And, of course, it shows some of the assault on the ship, the Arcadia that they were on. And, that brings up one of my other issues with the movie right away, though, is that we never find out what happened to Chris, Even that version of Chris, we never find out what happened to him. I don't know if they ever really say anything about it in the film, but they almost never mention him again. And I think there's, a novelization which, says, Alice lost sight of both him and Claire, and, she doesn't know. I know Claire comes back in the final chapter, but Chris is never brought up again, so I to presume one of the two greatest heroes in the video game franchises was just killed and captured there. Or, I don't know. So there's that. I will say though, I like the way they did the opening credits here. I like the way that was shot. It was definitely interactive video game styled with the way they did it, but I thought it looked kind of cool actually. All the ships coming down, Alice using her, sawed-off shotguns and such. So I thought that was a fairly unique type of opening. And then, of course, we have our usual recap. My name is Alice, and recap of all the other films. And the way they go about that looked a little bit more unique than usual, I guess. As far as the rest of the movie, Alice is captured and she's brought into one of the underground facilities of Umbrella. And that's pretty much where we are throughout the movie. It's pretty much in this huge underground testing facility, and most of it takes place in these fake artificial test environments that they put their experiments through and stuff like that, which is potentially an interesting concept. A massive umbrella facility, really seeing what they're capable of. But I don't know. I think more could have been done with that concept. And then, meanwhile, you have Albert Wesker, who supposedly is not necessarily a good guy. I think people kind of I think people kind of exaggerated a bit when talking about this movie. Oh yeah, but Wesker's suddenly a good guy. I think it sort of makes sense, that someone as smart as he's supposed to be, although like arrogant, power hungry, and everything else like that, even he sees that he might have to align with Alice, to combat this other potential threat to both of them. So he's not necessarily a good guy now. He's just trying to play the hand he feels like he has to at this point. So he gets this team to go and go after some stuff in the facility, basically. And, he also gives Alice her telekinetic powers back, as far as we know, even though we don't really see her use them much in this movie, I don't think. Because he wants her at her strongest, if she's going to be, working to an end he desires. And part of the team he sends in includes Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, as well as another character from the games, Barry Burton. I think I got that name right, didn't I? Yeah, Barry Burton. He played by Kevin Durand, by the way, who's an actor I like quite a bit. He's great on The Strain. The Strain's one of my favorite shows out there right now. He delivered a really nice performance in this independent horror movie called Dark Was the Night. He's been in tons of stuff, though. Mostly in, smaller supporting roles, but he's a really good actor when given the chance. And I actually had quite a bit of fun with Kevin Durand in this movie, I'll say that. I liked, his version of Barry here. I'm definitely not attached like Barry in the games as I am with the others I've mentioned, but maybe to an extent, Kevin Durand's Barry here might be my favorite video game character they had in the movies. I'll say that. But that's probably because of just the charisma Kevin Durand can have as an actor, too. And something else I should mention before I get into other areas of the movie, we also see the return of a couple dead characters from the earlier films. We have Michelle Rodriguez playing Rain, who was in the first movie, and we sort of have a bad and good version of her. We have the good version who's in this simulation, this environment that they created. And then we have this bad one that's part of this this squad of clones sent after him. Also, one of them is Oded Fehr, returning as a clone of Carlos Olivera. So it's kind of nice to see him again, and to see this particular reality where Alice is actually married to him and they have a daughter and such. The real Alice gets attached to this daughter, even though, as Ada says a little bit later, that there's tons of copies of that. The daughter dynamic with Alice is potentially kind of interesting. It did feel a little bit more. It felt like it had a tad more weight to it than some of the other Resident Evil stuff in the films. But I didn't really get why Alice would latch onto her so much, knowing that. But at the same time, she's seen a lot of clone type of scenarios and such, and it's, from what I understand in the final chapter, it becomes even more of a connection for her. But I didn't think as big of a deal should have been made out of the deaf daughter, because she's a clone, because she's artificial. But, I don't know, then again, maybe you should give them a chance too, I don't know. So yeah, that part was alright. I kind of like seeing the mob of zombies coming through, the fancy clean houses and stuff. It provided for some different aesthetic for it, in a way, I guess you could say. So what did I think of Leon Kennedy in particular in this movie? He's played by Johann Urb. I thought he did an alright job. I thought he seemed a little more like Leon Kennedy than Wentworth Miller did like Chris Redfield in Afterlife, I'll say. But for a while it was rumored that Jensen Ackles from Supernatural, a show I love, and he's an actor I know it can be very great. I think they should have went with Jensen Ackles on this one. If there was any credit at all to those rumors, I don't know if there ever were. But I think Ackles would have been a better choice, but Urb, I think, or at least his performance and the writing with him came off a little more true to the character than, like I said, Redfield was in the fourth movie. He's a little bit dry, he's a little bit dull. though, and sometimes, like the little quips don't really work quite as well. They come off a little bit too cheesy. I mean, Leon's supposed to be sort of a Boy Scout, so I guess I can't fault him too much for that, but it was alright. I didn't think he was completely terrible, but I think they could have found someone a little bit better. But, as I think Paul W.S. Anderson said, or someone else beyond the film said, it's kind of hard to find someone with Leon's hair. Fans probably would have been outraged if he didn't have the hair part down, at least, right? Then there brings me to the matter of Ada Wong. And Ada Wong, she's, along with Chris Redfield, Ada Wong is probably my favorite character in the video games. So I was very cautious, yet still a little bit eager to see her in this one. She is played by, I kind of lost the name, okay. She's played by Bingbing, who I believe is actually an actress of, she's actually Chinese. She's also a singer too. But she is voiced over by Sally Cahill, who actually voiced Ada Wong in Resident Evil 2, 4, and this smaller Dark Side Chronicles game they did. Which is a good idea in theory. It is a nice gesture that they got the voice actress in the games to, be a part of the movie to some extent. But there's parts where you can really tell it's dub, and in a way I sort of refer to having this actress's regular voice. I'm assuming she can speak some form of English. But the dub, I'm not sure how well the dub worked, because she still came off a little bit unnatural when she is speaking English, and I feel like Ada, she's a little more eloquent than that. She's a little bit more smoothly, she's a little bit more of a smooth talker, well spoken and stuff. I wonder how the actress from Resident Evil 6 of Ada Wong would have worked, because I love her voice even more than the second and fourth one. From the second and fourth games, I mean. But, the dub, I think it came off a little bit awkward at times. But, we had her in the red dress, from Resident Evil 4. And that was pretty accurate to the game, Her and Leon definitely looked the part, for their video game counterparts, I think. As far as the physical actress for Ada, she was okay. I definitely wasn't wowed by her performance. I feel like Ada should have come across stronger than that. Ada really holds her ground. She has a presence to her in her room, and this, she has a mysterious power to her as well. Almost like a female Batman in a way, really. With the way she can pull things off sometimes, but the actress, I don't know, something just didn't quite work. She came off a little bit too frail somehow, I think, and that might be partly because of the writing too, but I'm mixed on Ada and Leon in this movie, but Ada especially, and that's probably because I care about her more. But there are a couple moments I like with Ada in this movie, though, like I said, where Ada's trying to emphasize with Alice that they're all, there's copies of the daughter everywhere and such, and there's a scene that, they try to portray her and Alice as equals, physically. Of course, they always gotta keep Alice a little bit better, of course, but there's a sequence where they first meet each other that is almost like an exact copy of this one of the opening sequences with Ada and Leon in the game, so I thought that was kind of a fun little nod. And also when they're at this artificial house and the Rain clone, and we also have Colin Salmon back as the leader we see in the first movie. They assault the house, and Ada helps Alice shoot a bunch of them up pretty well, and Ada also makes a pretty cool escape below the house as it's about to go up. Ada sent Alice and the daughter on their way, because she could go out, if she'd be better on her own. She gave Alice her grappling hook and such. So I thought that was pretty cool. Because Ada's an escape artist, she can constantly, cheat death as well. And even Alice, trying to realistically assume that Ada was probably killed after she left. When she tells Leon about that, Leon doesn't believe it. He says, did you see her die? She always has a plan. So I kind of like that, because I like the little touches we got on their connection in the movie. It did come off, it did almost have a little bit of that video game magic to it. because of course Leon knows Ada more than any. Well, he doesn't know Ada that well, but he does, care a lot about her and he believes in her. So I like when that's played out in the movie. But that Ada escape thing is kind of ruined when you see that she's just captured later on, so she kind of becomes like this weird damsel in distress, really. And she's kind of used for a pawn at the end of the movie, so I didn't really like that. And she's like knocked out for the entire final fight with Rain, and that bugged me as well. I thought they were gonna give her like a big moment of like saving a lot of them, or at least coming towards the end and helping Alice put Rain down or something. That would have been cool at least, but she was knocked out for the whole fight. Come on, it's Ada fucking Wong. But like I said, I liked Kevin Durand's Barry Burton, and how was the rest of the movie though? Like I said, there were some fun action sequences in it. There's also this like massive like CGI liquor. This movie had the biggest budget of the entire series, but for some reason it still felt more fake than it ever has, which is kind of weird because of that. The liquor looked okay, I guess. I think it looked better than the first movie, oddly enough. Then we have sort of like these Nazi zombies almost, come up as like a firing squad. I thought they were okay. They looked a little bit off though, makeup wise. I don't know. Again, the budget got higher, yet the effects just looked more and more like a cheaper video game. I don't know what went on, but I guess it was nice seeing Michelle Rodriguez again as Rain. Definitely not her best performance I've seen from her, though. I think she's better in the Fast and Furious movies, although those aren't, like, very acting-worthy movies either. Probably even less than these, but, Michelle Rodriguez was okay in this. Like I said, I keep on talking about Kevin Durand's Barry Burton. I like how he went out in this. He gets hit by the liquor. I was glad he survived that part of it. Then, of course, you have Jill Valentine, she's under control, coming after him. And Kevin Durand, he goes down shooting. Barry Burton goes down shooting. He lights a cigarette. He gets shot down. He takes, a good few of them out on his own, though, with his, special gun that he uses, which they kind of shot on a video game type of way, which I thought was kind of fun. Another thing is this video game feels more like this movie feels more like a video game than all the other movies I've seen so far. And I think that was probably on purpose, but it doesn't really, I don't know how much it worked, but because it's literally like they go through all the environments, trying to reach their objective. So I think that's probably on purpose though, so I'm not really going to fault it too much, I guess. But yeah, then Barry lights a cigarette, and then he tosses the gun up and he manages to shoot another one of them down before they finally put him down. So I thought that was actually a pretty good death. And we also have the return of Luther in this movie. It was kind of nice to see him again. It was still odd to see him get more involved in the final fight than Ada did again. Why would they have Ada knocked out the whole time? I don't know. Well, there's a sweet moment where she comes to and Leon puts his jacket over her, which I thought was nice. And then there's this moment where they're going off, and they're getting away. And then there's this moment where Leon puts his hand on her leg, and she just, pulls it off slowly. So again, I like little moments like that. So in the sense of Ada and Leon, I guess they came up a little better to me than Chris did in Afterlife. But I still had some issues with how Ada was done in the movie, how she was handled writing-wise at least. But she had moments here and there, and I liked when they did touch on her and Leon's connection. But yeah, of course they go to the White House at the end of the movie. Wesker's leading them for this final stand. You see like all these things swarming outside, these flying creatures, things like that, this whole mob, which would make for an exciting ending, except I know in the final chapter they pretty much start things off really slow after everything that happened there. And I guess, and again it pisses me off because even if I was starting to like this Ada version of Ada and Leon even a little bit, we don't see him again. Why? I don't know. I guess like in the novelization, of course Wesker betrayed him, and I guess him and Alice are the only ones that survive after this movie. But again, why wouldn't you show all that shit going down at the White House at the beginning of the final chapter? Then that would have made for a pretty impactful opening at the very least, even though it still would have pissed me off. At least I would have seen it. But they're just never shown, never mentioned again, and that just bugs the living hell out of me, man. And Ada, she has a plan for everything. She's like the smartest person in this whole gaming universe, and she just works so closely alongside Wesker. She believes in him so much, or maybe she didn't, but I still fail to believe that the girl who Leon emphasizes always having planned didn't have a plan to get out of that White House. So I can't believe she was just killed with Leon and everyone else besides Alice. I don't know, but maybe we'll talk about that again when I review the final chapter. But I don't know. Overall, I thought this one was okay. In ways, it was almost better than Afterlife, because I did like Ada and Leon more than I liked Chris in Afterlife. But I think Afterlife, as far as the rest of the movie goes, I think Afterlife was a more well put together movie. I thought came across a little bit better quality to an extent. So I gave Afterlife, I think I rated Afterlife like a C or C plus, I think. And I'm going to give this one a little bit lower. I'm going to give this one around the range of a C, C minus. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be rating it as soon as I upload this picture here. Yeah, so I'm going to give this one a C minus. I thought it was okay. The versions of Ada and Leon were all right, with some frustrating things in the writing for Ada's character. And the effects just looked more fake than ever, but there were some fun moments in it. I really liked Kevin Durand's character. And I didn't think it was a complete trash movie either. Again, I don't think these movies deserve the crap they do get. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. I know Black Hood, this one is your favorite movie. I can see why you might have liked this. I'm not going to blame you for liking it or anything. It definitely did have some redeeming qualities to it for sure, and even if this does end up being my least favorite of the series, I can't say I completely dislike it either. Obviously there are things I enjoyed, like I just talked about, so fair is fair, man. But yeah, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. I'm going to be talking about the first trailer we got for the 4th season of the originals on the CW. And we'll probably be talking about the first season of Salem on WGN America pretty soon. So yeah, looking forward to that. Catch you guys next time. Peace.